You ever just catch yourself scrolling and scrolling? Like, how much time am I actually spending on this thing?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Happens to the best of us.
Right. It's kind of what sparked today's deep dive, actually.
Yeah.
We got a great question from a listener asking about the impact of social media on mental health. And wow, there's a lot to unpack there.
Definitely a lot of layers to that.
So we're going to try and hit on, I think, almost every angle the listener brought up. Everything from like straight up addiction to uh, self-esteem, body image, even if there's a possibility of social media actually making real life relationships better.
And it's all connected in a way, right? Because it really does come down to how social media affects our brains, our behavior.
Okay, yeah, let's start there then. The listener's first question was pretty broad, just how social media impacts mental health in general.
Well, the tricky part is there isn't just one answer. Social media, it's a tool, right? Like any tool, it can be used in positive ways and negative ways.
Yeah.
It depends.
So like some people might find support groups, connect with others who share their interests, but then there's also like the comparison game, the cyberbullying.
Exactly. And a lot of the negative stuff stems from how these platforms are designed. They're built to keep us engaged, keep us coming back. So they tap into our brain's reward system.
Oh, interesting. So like those little notifications, the likes,
Hmm.
they actually trigger something in our
We
brains.
do. It's dopamine. It's the same neurochemical that gets released when we, say, eat a delicious meal or achieve a goal. So we start associating social media with those good feelings and we want more.
Ah, okay. So it can become kind of addictive, like a habit that's hard to break. And then the listener specifically asked about social media addiction. Is that really a thing?
Yeah, it's definitely a real concern. I mean, we don't have to get into clinical definitions or anything, but think about it. Do you feel anxious if you can't check your phone for a while?
Hmm.
Do you spend more time online than you intend to? Do you ever feel like you need to cut back but can't?
Hmm. Yeah, I've definitely been there. Especially I feel like with the endless scroll, like there's always something new to see.
Exactly. And that constant stream of content can be really stimulating. It keeps our brains engaged, but in a way that can make it harder to focus on other things, like reading a book or having a deep conversation.
Oh, that's a good point. It's like we're training our brains to expect that constant stimulation,
Yeah.
which I guess ties into the listener's question about attention spans and memory.
Right, right. There's a lot of research going on in this area, and it's complex. But some studies suggest that heavy social media use could be linked to shorter attention spans and difficulty forming memories. More research is definitely needed, though.
Makes sense. Okay, so
Yeah.
we've talked about addiction, attention spans,
Mm-hmm.
but what about the whole self-esteem and body image thing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just personally, I know there are times when I'm scrolling through Instagram and I'm like, ugh, why don't I look like that?
Oh, yeah, totally. Social media, especially platforms like Instagram, often present this highly idealized version of reality. People are using filters, carefully curating their feeds. It's not always an accurate representation of real life.
Yeah, it's like everyone's living their best life 24/7.
Yeah.
But what's the actual impact on people, especially young people?
Well, there is this study in the Journal of Youth and Adolescence, I think it was back in 2019. It found that teens who frequently used Instagram reported higher levels of body dissatisfaction, and they were more likely to want cosmetic surgery. It's that constant comparison.
Right, right. It's like looking in a funhouse mirror, everything's distorted. Oh, not great for the self-esteem. But the listener also wondered if social media could actually be good for relationships.
And it can be. It's all about how it's used. Think about staying in touch with family who live far away, or using social media to organize a real-life meetup.
So yeah, using it to connect with people rather than just passively scrolling. Actually, that brings us to community building. The listener was really interested in that aspect.
Definitely. And we see so many examples of positive online communities, support groups for people with chronic illnesses, activist movements. Social media can give people a sense of belonging, especially those who might feel isolated in their offline lives.
That's so important, especially I think like during the pandemic when everyone was so isolated.
Absolutely. But of course, there are also potential downsides, like echo chambers, where people are only exposed to information that confirms their existing beliefs, and it can become really hard to have productive conversations.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. It's like being stuck in a bubble. Okay, moving on to a more serious topic,
Mm-hmm.
cyberbullying. The listener specifically asked about its psychological effects.
Right, and it's a huge problem. The thing about cyberbullying is it can feel inescapable. The harassment can happen anywhere, anytime, and it often reaches a wider audience than traditional bullying.
Plus, there's the anonymity factor.
Yeah.
Bullies can hide behind fake profiles, and it can be really hard to hold them accountable.
Exactly. And for victims, it can be incredibly damaging to their self-esteem, their mental health. It can lead to anxiety, depression, even suicidal thoughts.
It's just awful.
Yeah.
Okay, one last thing the listener was curious about is how social media use differs across generations.
Yeah, that's interesting. Think about it. Younger generations have grown up with social media. It's been part of their lives from the very beginning. Older generations, maybe they adopted it later for different reasons.
So their experiences are going to be totally different. And I guess that means there's no one-size-fits-all approach to using social media responsibly.
Exactly. But I think no matter your age, it's about being mindful, being intentional about how you use social media, setting boundaries, being selective about the content you consume.
Right. So like maybe limiting your screen time, unfollowing accounts that make you feel bad, stuff like that.
Exactly. And remembering that social media is just one part of life. Don't let it take over. Prioritize those real life connections, those offline experiences. Such great advice. Well, this has been a really insightful deep dive. Definitely makes you think twice about how you use social media.
Absolutely. And I think the key takeaway is knowledge is power. The more we understand about how social media affects our brains, our behavior, the better equipped we are to make healthy choices.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. We hope you found this deep dive informative. And hey, maybe go for a walk, read a book, anything to give your brain a little break from the screen.
Yeah, good idea. And until next time, keep those notifications in check.
See ya!
Bye.